It's
Yeah.
it's
It's EL.
Yeah.
it's EL. That's all on me. This is great podcasting. You can tell that we've done this before.
We're professionals
Fabelmans.
here.
Yeah. So that is great. Awesome. Way to start out. Hi, we're back. We're reviewing the Fabelmans this week. Welcome to a One Take Podcast episode. I had it right up here. 130. Nice round number for a very well-rounded movie. How are we doing? Do we still, as Dex said, do we still do podcasts?
We do. And real cinema hours are back. So we got to be back on these cinema streets, bros. There's a lot of heat out there in the movie
There's
theaters.
so much heat.
Cinema
God,
season,
what a
brothers.
year.
It's cinema seasons.
Yeah, so I crashed the car. I got sick. There was Thanksgiving happened. There's a lot's been going on. You know, it's been a time and a half in like the month since we last did a pod. So
You know, crashing your car and getting sick will sometimes delay a podcast. Who would have thought?
sometimes, yeah.
How's the car buying experience? I know this, Caitlin and I had to buy a car, and it was like the most tedious thing that I've ever done in my adult
dumbest
life.
shit in the world.
It was easier to buy a house.
I'll take your word on that. I haven't gotten there yet, but oh my god, dude, they don't tell you that the happy Honda days are only happy if you have good credit. You are not. Your Honda days are not happy when you have bad credit.
It's not
Don't
a good
tell me-
Toyota-thon for you.
You are not signing and then driving if you have shitty credit. So protect your credit, friend.
They're treating you like Falcon at the dealership. That's crazy, man. So everybody treating Falcon bad. That's crazy.
Yes, bro. They were like,
I love that.
what the fuck is this? Like, how dare you come to me with this bullshit? Who you think you are? Wasting my time, you motherfucker.
That is funny when you go to somebody and they're just like, hey, like they're like at your age trying to sell you the thing. They're just like, hey, man, come on. Like, I've had it happen to me a couple of times where it's just like, you got a cosigner on this one?
Yeah, where your mom at? Like, where your mom at?
Oh, man. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about The Fabelmans. One of the best movies. I think we can all agree. We're just going to get that out of the way. Longer podcast today because, well, again, we've seen a few movies that we haven't reviewed. Doing The Fabelmans, we're going to talk about The Menu, a surprise hit at the box office. The Menu. We're going to talk about The Fabelmans, and then we're going to draft little-known filmmaker Steven Spielberg's movies. I don't know if y'all have heard of this guy, but we're going to talk about his indie art films that he puts out. So The Fabelmans came out just a couple of weeks ago over a rare, if ever, Thanksgiving release for Steven Spielberg. An interesting time to release this movie. Growing up in a especially, we'll talk about this, especially how crowded everything was within the past like 3 weeks. So much stuff came out.
A lot of shit, like in the end of November, beginning of December, and it was all dope.
It was because it's a weird Oscars window, but also nothing was released in August. If y'all remember that, remember when Top Gun was playing like 18 weeks in a row?
Yep.
Just release some of this anyway. Release The Menu in August is what we were trying to say. Anyway, The Fabelmans. Growing up in a post-World War II era Arizona, young Sammy Fabelman aspires to become a filmmaker as he reaches adolescence, but soon discovers a shattering family secret and explores how the power of films can help him see the truth. 8.2 on IMDb, 84 Metascore. Actually written and directed by Steven Spielberg. He hadn't written a movie in a long time. He had been writing video games for a long time. If you didn't know, Steven Spielberg is the creator of the Medal of Honor series.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yep. So if you're wondering how rich Steven Spielberg is, he made some of the best-selling video games of all time. Anyway, but also Tony Kushner, who has also been his writing partner over the past few films, stars Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, having an incredible year for our king.
The year of Dano.
Gabrielle LaBelle as Sammy Fabelman Spielberg. Judd Hirsch as Uncle Boris coming in, throwing 100 miles an hour, and then leaving. Seth Rogen in not a bad role for Seth Rogen, just coming in doing a Seth Rogen thing. And of course, we have our queen, Dex's queen, Julia Butters.
The young goat.
Yeah,
The
Julia
young
Butters
goat.
in here as well. Steven Spielberg knows how to pick out stars, I'll tell you that. But this movie, it was a weird release. So, like we said, it was a crowded slate at the theater. They also limited its release to only so many screens, so many showings. But it came to Waco, so it wasn't like it wasn't that limited. But it didn't make any money. It has made $5 million.
Dang.
That is insane.
That's worldwide gross. Yeah. $5 million.
Obviously, it'll make some more when the Oscars run starts, but oh my God, that's a very low number.
They
How
also
much did it
didn't
cost to make it.
I can't find that number. It couldn't have been mega expensive like his other films, but if you're Spielberg, you're getting at least, $75 million to make your movie. At least. If not $100 million, but I don't think this is a $100 million movie.
40 million is what I can find.
40 million. Okay, so that I have a feeling that when they try to expand this a little bit further, they also didn't market it very heavily.
No, not at all.
It was like in a couple.
They didn't market
NBA
it well
games.
either. The trailer stinks.
Yeah. It was just a weird release for this very, very well-rounded, good film. We'll talk about it, one of Spielberg's best in like a decade. So for it to not make any money is shocking to me, but we talk about that all the time. The Fabelmans has 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, 82% audience score. Part memoir, part
Who are those 8% that are shitting on this film? Who are these people?
I just can't. Every time we talk about Rotten Tomato scores, I'm like, who are these people who are like, you know what? The Fabelmans, that shit sucks. Like, what?
That shit stinks, and I'm gonna shit on it. I hate this shit.
Well, here's one.
People.
Aline Jones from the Jacobin. Sure. Steven Spielberg's autobiographical The Fabelmans is a dull, self-indulgent victory lap for the most victorious filmmaker in history.
Hey, Eileen, we don't like the Jacobin or the Jacobin or wherever you work. We don't like it. We have
how are you going to criticize an autobiography for being self-indulgent? That's what it is.
Here's the thing.
It's literally about him.
It is.
What else would it indulge in? Like, it's his autobiography.
Here's the thing. If any filmmaker could make a autobiography, it is Steven Spielberg.
Yeah,
what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Let him cook. Like, what? I
it's
can't
the
imagine
most
walking out
of the filmmaker of the 20th and 21st century. What are we talking about?
I walked out of this movie theater and halfway in tears. I could not have imagined walking out being, that fucking Steven Spielberg really get a number on me this time. That asshole just jerked himself off for 2 hours. Like, the movie, it's not like that. It's not like self-absorbed at all. That's such a weird review.
He made an autobiography into like a moving tribute to his mother and father also.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It was beautiful.
Yeah, 82% audience score. Before we ruin any more of what we think about the movie, let's talk about it. Tej, you said you left crying. It's a moving film. Go ahead and talk about what you thought about it.
It's partly because it wasn't marketed well, but partly because I was a little skeptical about whether Spielberg and the kind of movies he makes, whether he could make something that I would find interesting that I knew was about him, at least in some form or fashion. It's just a different kind of movie. Obviously, every movie a director makes is about that person in some way, shape, or form. So, but I mean, like now we're gonna remove the veil, and now we're gonna look at a movie about Steven Spielberg. It's like that has a capacity for me to just not be interesting. So I didn't watch a lot of the trailers. I think I saw a trailer once, and I was like, I don't know a lot about this movie other than the fact that people think it's good and that it's about Steven Spielberg's life. And I was just blown away by it's not really about Steven Spielberg at all. It's actually just about family and the dynamics of family, and specifically about his mother and his father. The what he's doing with the character of the mother as they're showing him growing up, the mom like just happens to just be like a great mom who pays attention to him and talks to him, and she knows immediately what he needs. Like he needs to get a camera in his hand. Like we got to crash this train, and we got to get a camera in his hands, and that's going to be he's going to be off and running. And it's like she literally changed his life. She put a camera in his hand just because she realized something about her kid. Just be like being an intuitive mom. So you're building out this very beautiful relationship between the mother and the son. And then as you start to open up the family dynamics a little bit and you see how the relationship at the center of the family starts to dissolve, now it puts you in a perfect position you already know the first thing we knew about the mom was about her relationship to her son. So now as things are happening and maybe we question her judgment or what she's doing to the family, we still know that no matter what happens with the mom and the dad, like her and little Fabelman are in sympathetic, they're in connection. Like they are great friends. They have a great relationship. So when the young character starts to question his mom, there's a scene where the young character starts to question his mom and question her decision making, and his sister comes in and basically is like, "Mom is selfish like you. Like you are just like mom. You need to give mom some grace because mom is doing the best that she can. And if anybody should be able to see what she's going through, it should be you."
Julia Butters close up. Steven Spielberg knows.
Which,
I'm telling you, Steven Spielberg knows a star. He's like, I'm going to give her a moment. And I was kind of like, just because she's a young actor, sorry to step on your toes. Like,
no, go ahead.
Why is she taking this role as like the 10th lead in this movie when she probably has a lot of other stuff on the table? It's because you get to work with Steven Spielberg and he's going to give you a close up in his movie. Like that's like, yeah.
She doesn't have a lot to do, but like that scene is like they cleared it out. They said, "Julia, we know Julia Butters she got that one, she can hit a 3 from half court, and we know that she can do it. We just have to set it up so that she can get her shot off." So that scene where she has the fight with the brother, and then right when she's storming out of the room, the brother's like, "Hey, can you like look at the movie I'm making for mom and like just look over it with me?" And she knows in that moment, like, even though I'm pissed off at you, like I have to go be a sister to you right now. And she turns back around and she gives him a big hug, and they start watching the movie together. And I fucking lost. I was down very bad. I was audibly sobbing in the movie theater at that scene. It was very powerful, and to kind of see it's beautiful. It's filmed really well, and what they're doing with like the stuff with him behind the camera is just so fascinating to see. Like him developing his own style, him being able to direct his friends to make these little movies. Like he's got to get this actor into scene who's not really getting the scene right. They got to have this like emotional moment where he gets into the actor and like trying to figure out how to make him play out the vision. And it's just it's all around just an amazing, very cool movie, very cool family dynamics. I thought Paul Dano was amazing. The woman that plays the mom is crushing her performance, and the guy who plays the main kid, who's the star of our movie, is very good. I don't know who he is, but like I thought he was amazing. I thought he did a great job, and obviously they're aging him up. But I thought the young version of him was also really good. Like I was immediately drawn to this character and drawn into the movie. I really loved it. It was beautiful, and it's the kind of movie that it's a holiday movie. They put it out around the holidays. It's a weird release, but like it is a real holiday movie to get up and close and intimate with the family and kind of see their rises and their falls. That's a holiday movie, and it's heartwarming in a lot of ways. And so I see what they were thinking, but that's crazy that nobody's going to see this because this is an incredible film. I would give it an A+.
Dex, correct me if I'm wrong. That little kid that plays the young Sammy Fabelman looks and sounds exactly like my nephew.
No, he definitely does. Absolutely,
it's insane. I was texting my sister. I was like, "You just have to see this movie. It's really weird. Like, but this looks like your kid." Anyway, so Dex, what did you think about the? Wait, T, did you give it a grade?
Yeah, A+.
Okay, Dex, what do you think?
I'm also an A+. This movie is incredible, and when I first saw the movie, I saw it like the night it came out, which was an interesting night. It came out the same night as Knives Out 2 in theaters, and I watched them both back to back. But
what a weird double viewing.
Yeah, it was dope though. Classic cinema, front to back. But I love this movie. Like I said, when it first came out, what Spielberg was able to do with the like autobiographical like genre, I thought was really cool and pretty unique from like movies that I've seen. Because you've got like Armageddon Time, which came out recently, which I think the movie stinks, but it's, you know, those kind of movies, they usually try and focus on just either one really small story, like one tiny piece of their childhood or whatever when they're making these movies, because it can get kind of unwieldy trying to tell your entire life story in a movie and make it compelling. Armageddon Time, it stunk, but they tried to stick to one like small story about racism, basically. With Belfast, a movie I love, like it was the story of him and his parents moving out of Belfast, and that is like a 90-minute movie about, you know, like a few week period. But Spielberg was able to like make it pretty much his entire this movie is basically his entire childhood, but it still feels connected the whole time, at least to me. Like all of it feels like it's a part of the same narrative. It's not just a guy randomly like shoehorning in things he remembers about his life, you know? And I thought that was like super impressive that he was able to pull that off. I've seen some people criticize it and say like it didn't feel connected for them, but I'm like, y'all weren't fucking paying attention. Like all of this, every story in this movie is about like, you know, him kind of learning who he is and learning you know, how movies can help him express that, and how, you know, him and his mom have this relationship that rises and falls and then kind of rises again by the end, and like what role making movies plays in that. And I thought it was really fucking dope that he was able to pull that off, you know.
The way I think that they were able to do that with the storytelling device was that they, instead of like having him age several years, they were just able to move him locations. They moved several times in this movie.
Yeah.
So it's just like new story. We're at this different place.
Yeah.
You know what
we're
I mean?
Arizona now. We're in New York.
Yeah.
We're in
California.
You know, whatever. Yeah. It works for me. And Michelle Williams, to me, she was amazing. Right. And I know you disagree. But I was like just extremely compelled by her the entire time.
Wait,
she's on screen.
did Michelle Williams play the mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't like her?
She's gonna get. I'll talk about it in my review. She's gonna get nominated for a 5th Oscar. I think she's good. I'm not as high as a lot of people are, and I think people have kind of gone back.
4 Oscars already?
She has 4 Oscar nominations.
Oh, okay, got it.
She's gonna get a 5th Oscar nomination for this as well.
Has she ever won?
No.
Wow, interesting.
Damn.
She's in the who played Promising Young Woman. She's in the
Carey Mulligan
camp with that.
Shout out to Amy Adams.
Yeah, Amy Adams too. I was gonna say she's in that same camp.
But yeah, I don't think she should win this year, but I definitely think she deserves a nomination for this year.
It's a hard battle in that category this year. But
yeah, this year, Best Actress is stacked. After last year, it was kind of mid, but this year, it's like
she should be in. She should.
And also, I mean, she probably could walk away with it if she put herself in Best Supporting Actress category, but she decided she wanted to submit in Best Actress category, which, like, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. But like,
I think she was right to do that.
That decision's already been made.
Yeah, she made that decision herself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting decision.
Yeah, I think when she explained it as like, you know, had something to do with like, you know, representing moms, and you know, you don't have to just be a supporting person as a mom. Like you can have your own lead, like.
But she's
whatever,
the supporting actress in this. She's a supporting actress in this film.
I mean, kind of, but like most of the plot hinges on her. Like,
I would say she's not a supporting actress, but just for the sake of trying to get the ball across the goal line in terms of winning the Oscar, I would category fraud that this entire time. Yeah. I'm going to give you my Oscar. Like, what are you talking about?
Give me my Oscar.
I don't think that she's a supporting actress here, and traditionally. But if you can get the Oscar across the goal line by going down to some easier competition, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how she said it, but she had some kind of like explanation for it that was also like kind of campaigny, you know. Like, this voting for me is bigger than, you know, whatever. So, but she was great, and deserve a nomination. I would still put Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh in front of her for this year. But
Man, Kate
you know,
Blanchett went crazy, brother. It's gonna be
went
hard.
crazy.
She dropped 67, bro. It's gonna be hard.
Went crazy. But yeah, man, this movie is dope. It's an A+ for me. Yeah, and it finds a way to balance kind of some very dark shit in here. Like, you know, there's a lot of like anti-Semitism, which felt super timely, especially when I watched it, because it was like, you know,
Man, it
Kanye
could not be more
Kyrie stuff.
timely in the moment that
Yeah.
we're in, that this movie explores anti-Semitism. It could not be more timely.
Insane. I was watching it in real time as like the Kanye shit was happening, and I was like,
yeah, and we're like, damn.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Kyrie needs to watch this movie. Tweet this one out, buddy. But
tweet the link. You can find it on VOD.
tweet the link to Fabelmans, bro.
If the Nets, you know how the Nets had all those rules that Kyrie had to pass to come back. If one of them was like, you must watch the Fabelmans and tweet the link of the Fabelmans when it drops on HBO Max. That was one of the.
We need you to drop a review on Letterboxd of the Fabelmans and tell us what you learned.
Go to Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Write a dissertation over the Fabelmans.
Well, yeah, man, it like balanced like that very dark, very heavy shit with like also just being a delightful family movie. Like there was some like really genuinely funny shit in here. The whole thing with like the girlfriend from high school and her being Christian but also super horny, like that shit was just hilarious to me every time. Like,
can relate.
Like, been there.
Yeah,
but I love this movie. I think it's great. A+. Probably like it's gotta be top like 7 or 8 of this year, which like doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when you look at this fucking year.
I think it's the favorite to win Best Picture.
I think it was.
Is it your favorite movie that you've seen this year is the question.
No, it's not my favorite movie I've seen this year.
No, but I don't.
It might be second for me.
Before it came out, I was like, yeah, like that's probably going to be a big Best Picture thing. But then, like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get the vapors from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
You think if that makes a push?
I'm starting to get the vapors. They're everywhere, bro.
Hollywood elitists would be so pissed if that movie.
That cast is every fucking where right now, dude. They are at every event.
They're really everywhere, bro. They
all
are
together.
They are doing a real campaign. They are
doing everything. Ki Kwan has basically got Best Supporting Actor sewn up.
Hell yeah.
All like 99% lock at this point. And like that whole cast is going everywhere. The Daniels are going everywhere. Like they're still doing. Like
they fell ass backwards into making an Oscar movie,
a Best Picture run.
Yeah, they're just like, God damn, what are we doing?
That shit is I'm getting the vapors. Cinema, bros. That shit is beautiful cinema, and it is more than $5 million worth of people saw that movie, and that's going to be helpful.
That too.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, like in terms of my Best Picture pick right now, but The Fabelmans definitely deserves that nomination and like all the other ones that it's going to get because it's an amazing movie and everyone should go see it.
I also love the sound. The music, making the mom a musician is maybe that's the actual like job that his mom did, which would make some sense. But because of her being a musician, they got to really weave in music in some of these scenes. The scenes where he's kind of seeing through the lens of the camera about what's happening in his family, which was beautifully done. That the fact that they're using her music behind it when she's playing the piano just made the scene pop that much more. Get your sound game right, directors, because Tar, the sound is great. The Fabelmans, the sound is great. If you crush the sound, you are halfway to making real cinema. Crush it.
Also, the film looks great.
Yeah.
Janusz Kaminski, who is the cinematographer for he is like the personal cinematographer for Spielberg at this point, came on for the second Jurassic Park movie, I believe, and has been with him ever since. He does this sort of weird thing, or has sort of developed this thing over the years of doing this weird sort of dreamlike lens flare stuff with his shots that sometimes in his more serious movies, like if you watch Minority Report, it's all over that movie.
Yeah.
It's like bright as fuck, and you're just like, what the, like, what am I watching? But when you do it with this, it works sort of. It's really bright. It feels like a memory, and that's the way the movie looks. It feels like somebody is remembering in real time what their childhood was like and kind of coping with that. And that's the perfect way to kind of view this movie. My way to view this movie is actually the right and good way to view this movie. And yours is dumb. So like, I think the right way to view this movie is not necessarily as Spielberg jerking himself off for 2.5 hours, but like to more view it as a man in his 70s, still working feverishly, by the way. He's still pumping out projects, but like a man in his 70s, one of the most important filmmakers, kind of coming to grips with his childhood and his adolescence and the child divorce thing that many have all gone through, and coming to grips with that on film, which is something that he had previous to like 1995 done in most of his movies. The absent dad, the sort of longing son sort of thing that he'd done in a lot of his films.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first one to just come right out and say like, hey, this fucked me up a little bit when I was a kid. And
yeah, but like he appreciates it, which I think is like really like profound and interesting. Because like I said with Armageddon Time, like that dude does not appreciate his upbringing at all. He hates those people. You know what I'm saying?
He fucking hates those people.
He despises his parents. He thinks they are shitty racists. But it's like Steven Spielberg with this movie, obviously, like he's real about like some of the ways that his parents fucked him up, but also he's just like, for the most part, I had a great ass time. Like, and they, put me on. They like maybe what I am today.
Basically, look, it all worked out. Steven Spielberg, it all worked out for the better. And so now, that's the thing too. Look, you get to make this film if you're Steven Spielberg. That is the leniency that we get to give you.
Yeah,
sorry. So if you go into this thinking like it's just going to be a big circle jerk and like a pleasure fest for a great filmmaker, I think you're gonna be a little bit wrong, because it's like you just have to give this to these people. One, a man who has given us some of the best cinema in the last 40 years, and two, just an all around like decent guy too, from what we know.
Yeah,
like a longtime family man and everything else. Like you just get to, when you've built up that much goodwill for Hollywood and for the rest of the movie going public, you get to make that movie. Sorry, you just do. You just get to make the movie if you're Steven Spielberg. So yeah, I'll let you make that movie. And he took the ball and ran with it. And I think that viewing this as more of like a memory, as sort of like a dream, is a really good way of looking at it, because for the beginning part of his career, a lot of his films had that, and we talked about it with the Nope review too, that sort of wonder, that childlike sense of looking up to the heavens and wondering what we could possibly do, or the wonder of being scared as a kid and not knowing how to cope with that. And like all of that childlike emotion that we had in his early films that we love Spielberg for, E.T., Close Encounters, Goonies, which is something that he wrote and produced. It comes out in this movie, and it's weird now to look at it and be like, oh, a 75-year-old billionaire made this. But it feels like him really getting back. Yeah, it's like, but it feels like him really getting back to his roots, which is what we all love Spielberg for. And he just hadn't, to be quite frank, the run of the past decade for Spielberg has not been good. I'm sorry, it just hadn't been good. It's been at times boring and uninteresting to me.
Hey, West Side Story got nominated for an Oscar, so I guess
that's what I'm
disrespect.
Yeah, don't. I mean,
Okay, before that, like,
I didn't
what are
love
we
it.
talking about?
I didn't love West Side
War
Story.
Horse, y'all were going in for War Horse, The Post.
Never saw
This
it.
is the most interesting thing he's made since Lincoln, which was in 2012. So there has been
Yes.
a weak decade, maybe not weak, but like Ready Player One made a lot of money, and
Or the greatest
fine.
filmmaker of the past few generations,
Yes,
next to Scorsese. It's like a weird downturn.
Oh shit, that was Olivia Cook in Ready Player One. Holy shit.
Okay.
That was so red.
Sorry. I'm like looking at Steven Spielberg's filmography and clicked on the Ready Player One.
It just shows you, like, even like as he gets late into his career, obviously, and late to his life, it just shows you that like this guy could still heat up and he could still cook up. He made Lincoln, which is incredible, and it took 10 years, and then he gave us the Fabelmans, which nobody has seen yet, but is a true masterpiece. He made something really beautiful. He really crushed it, and the fact that it's about him shouldn't dissuade people, because every movie that you watch is about the director. Hey, spoiler alert, guys. So the fact that we just know that this happens to be somewhat semi-autobiographical, we don't know what's true or what's not. All we know is that the picture he's painting on the screen is really well done. And just if you're a film nerd, how can you not like seeing somebody grow into the love of movies and learn how to put things together? Watching any scene where you're going to put me in where someone's working on one of those really old school editors they were doing the editing, and
that shit was so
actual film.
It's amazing. Like, it's seeing someone work with actual film is the coolest shit. There's also a scene like that in Nope where the movie guy is doing. It's like that's all. I'm always in. Like, you're gonna shoot that from behind. I get to see Interlude Machine. Yes, give me that scene every time. And so just seeing film nerd stuff is obviously like works for people that like movies, and especially because it's a movie about a guy who's making movies. But there's a lot of. I feel like there's something for everybody here. It's just nobody's seen it yet.
And that's the thing too, that like a lot of these films that have come out lately is like it's a love letter to the movies. I was like, well, this actually kind of is a love letter to the movies, because
Facts.
He was there like at the invention of movies, pretty much. But like, I just think that like seeing the genesis of a genius is always compelling to me. I don't care like what it is, like the Jobs movie or whatever. It is just like always compelling. But in this, it's not pretentious, because it's a little kid, and you're never sitting there thinking, oh, well, this little kid is a genius. And he really didn't become a genius until later in his career, but like this little kid is a genius, but because it's a little kid. You know what I mean? I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's something you're not seeing like a 25-year-old Steven Spielberg go, running a set or whatever.
Yeah, they don't have fucking DA's Harrison Ford in here, and they're like, "This is how we made Indiana Jones."
Right? You're seeing. I don't know. You're seeing a guy kind of realizing his potential within the film,
and his mother realizing his potential, and maybe before his dad, which kind of was part of the dynamic.
Well,
of the mom realizing.
We'll talk about real quick my downturn. I'd probably give this an A+. I don't know if I'd even rank it up there with Tar. I wanted to maybe give it an A, but there's levels to this. Like, it's lower than Tar, but it's not an A, just like a middle of the road A. I don't know how to describe that better than I just did.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean, it's elite, but it's not like elite amongst the elite.
Right. Yeah, it's Devin Booker.
When I walked out, I thought maybe it was 1A, 1B with Tar. I haven't seen either one of them for the second time, but I had it, at least walking out of the movie theater, had it pretty high up there in terms of my enjoyment of it. But I did not put it above Tar. I don't think Tar is set the bar pretty high. So
yeah, it's gonna be hard for anything to top Tar.
It's gonna be hard. That's just fire.
I do want to talk about the performances of it. I want to talk about the Michelle Williams of it all, and what I kind of came away from it with her performance is it was a very good performance. It had the opportunity like to almost go off the rails very quickly. Like, there is a part of it within the first, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes of it where I'm like, she's doing a bit, right? where it's just like she's way over the top, and obviously like this goes into his mother, like, or him portraying his mother as like a manic or a manic depressant.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it just felt almost out of place next to, and Dana was there to like ground it, but it felt almost out of place in this world, even though it was a dream sequence. She was so much, or a dreamlike film rather. She was so much bigger than everything kind of going on around her at points. And maybe that's just how he sees his mother. And obviously it probably
I feel like
is.
that's the point.
But like just somewhere in her performance, it just felt a little, to me, just a little too much. Where I was like, if we go one notch down, maybe this is like elite. But I don't know. It felt sometimes more out of place to me. I thought Dano was good. It is interesting to see Dano be normal dude, because he's not.
Interesting.
He's just not that guy in all of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, he still felt like he could have turned into a serial killer at any moment in this movie to me.
Come on.
Like honestly, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could definitely, in a different edit of this movie, you can make it where he like just murders the entire family, and they do like the black and white photo where it's like they had the perfect life until they didn't. Like Paul Dano like just always just has that in him. You know what I'm saying? But
I do like Spielberg coming to grips with, and there's a Spielberg documentary on HBO Max, I believe, where they talk about sort of, he always painted his father as sort of the bad guy in this sort of in this whole situation. In real life, he didn't know, and spoiler alert for the movie, we're just in spoiler territory now, but in real life, he didn't know that his mother was having an affair. That's something that they do in this movie, that like he finds out about it and like gets to keep that secret. In real life, like he didn't know about it, and he thought his dad. He thought, I think this is true. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but he thinks that like his dad just left, and it turns out that like he did that to try and protect the image of their mother to the children. Because that's just kind of like World War II veteran stand-up guy sort of stoic American dad thing. And it wasn't until later that he found out that she was depressive and having an affair and all that. So like the light of his mother and the light of his father sort of evened when he became an adult. Whereas it was like this.
You got to keep Seth Rogen away from your girl. That's what I learned from this movie, bro. You have to keep Seth Rogen very far away from your girl. This applies to real life Seth Rogen and the character he plays in this film. Keep Seth Rogen away from your girl. When they, because there obviously something is weird going on with the mom. You don't really know yet, but there's weird instances where all of a sudden she's on 10. You're like, wait, why is she on 10 right now? How did we get there? Like, what was happening?
Yeah, there's definitely moments in the movie where you're like, are they fucking? Like, it feels like they fucking.
So there's something weird going on. Then they have a scene where they're out in the woods, as white people do. White people go out into the woods and spend the night with their family and the night in the woods, which I respect.
Sleeping on the ground, you know.
They just say, we're just gonna go sleep in nature. So, you know, white people are doing white people shit in the woods. They singing songs and doing and making meat and stuff like that, and lighting fires. And they're out there, and all of a sudden the mom starts dancing, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of giving everybody else weird vibes. And you realize you can kind of see through her clothes and garments.
Filming it.
And Seth Rogen is locked in like he is at a titty bar. Seth Rogen is not averting his gaze at even in the slightest. And this is supposed to be your best friend. And you've been there ogling his wife and being with his wife for God knows how long. The way that they draw it out, they just give you little nuggets of it. And you question yourself. You're like, wait, did I just see that? Or am I tripping? And then eventually you're like, oh no, something weird is going on here with the family dynamic. There's always just Seth Rogen is always at their house. Why is Seth Rogen always over their house? He's
always at their damn house.
Literally.
Why is she advocating for this man to move across the country with them? Well, who does that?
Why are you about to halfway in your marriage because he won't bring his best friend to the job with him?
I got promoted, not him. Fuck him. What you mean he has to come?
And it's like the way that the dad finds out, and the way you realize, like when the dad says, "I want you to film your mom's camping trip, and it makes no sense. And it's like, Dad, what the fuck are you talking about? She's grieving. She doesn't want to fucking be on film. And then you realize that the dad is like, I've reached my wits end. I need proof that this is happening. And he's setting this up to have the son record. It's just a very well-made movie, and it just fuck Seth Rogen. Stay away from my girl, Seth Rogen. Personally, you just stay away, bro.
What about Uncle Benny? What do you mean? What about Uncle Benny?
Yeah, what the fuck about him? Like, I just got promoted to IBM. Like, what? What you bringing
And I'm a
him up
fucking
for?
genius. We about to be very rich. Why do I need this hanger on?
I just fucking invented computers. What are you talking about?
I couldn't imagine if my wife was like, "What about your best friend?" I'll text him. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, we'll stay in touch, bro. We on the same group chat. We good. Like
FaceTime the homie, like every now and again. But
so yeah, the reveal of it almost plays like a horror movie. The reveal of him finding out that his wife or his mom is cheating. But
amazing cinema.
Also, the performance, like you said, you meant to shout him out earlier, but the man Gabriel LaBelle, who plays Sammy Fabelman, otherwise Steven Spielberg, that has to be a tall task for that kid to be like, all right, you're gonna play me.
Yeah, you're Steven Spielberg in the Steven Spielberg movie, directed by Steven Spielberg,
and he was really good.
He was amazing.
He really was. Like really funny and like quick-witted, and I just thought he was really, really good.
We have to talk about. Well, first of all, I want to shout out the scene where it comes out to the family that the family's going to descend, the family's separating, and they don't really know what's happening. And he knows, but the daughters don't know, and the daughters are like, "You're just gonna go be with Uncle Benny?" Like, why would you leave us to be with Uncle? Like, the way that they get there, like, Mom, what are you doing? You can't just break up the family. Like, that scene with the daughters, like, they just crush it. Because imagine hearing that. Like, wait, my mom is leaving the family to go be with
going back
uncle.
to Arizona?
Like, she's going back to Arizona. We just left Arizona. Now she's going back because she misses Uncle Benny. Like, she's leaving our whole family.
Like, that fucking dweeb who be hanging out with us and shit. Like, him?
That was amazing, and we got to talk about his Jesus freak girlfriend. It's because
I wanted to talk about in succession of that, and then we'll get to. I wanted to talk about Judd Hirsch. Judd Hirsch comes in as the great uncle to Sammy, as his mother's uncle.
Oh my god, he was amazing. He was amazing.
He comes in and is throwing 10,000 miles an hour.
That's the most Jewish man to ever exist.
Yeah.
He went after this performance, and it was incredible. He pops into the movie, pops right back out of the movie, bro. I did my job.
He comes in. He tells Sammy Fabelman that he's going to be a lone and desperate artist for the rest of his life because that's what he does. And then he rips his clothes. And he's rip your clothes, sleep on the floor with sitting Shiva. And it's just like, what? And he just leaves. And it's just like.
And literally the next scene, you see him just leaving, like, and then he does a little thing where he does this before he gets to the cab.
Yeah, Judd Hirsch. I think there's like a little push for him to be like, to be best supporting actor for I think 5 minutes of screen time.
He was incredible. He bodied it.
Then you move on, and of course they move away, and he gets his first girlfriend. Totally by accident.
I was going to say, yeah, completely by accident. Just fell ass backwards into it. But
she chose up. Like, he didn't have to do nothing. She chose him. Like, you about to be my man. He was just like, all right, I guess I'll go through. Let's go pray together, I guess.
Before that, the biggest Jew radar that this guy just finds the Jewish person out of nowhere in playing volleyball, he's like, that kid's Jewish. I'm going to be anti-Semitic.
It's time to ramp up. He says, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going PEFCON 3 on Fabelman.
That little kid, he's sitting there and he's just like, you're not like one of us. He's like, what? He's like, you're Jewish. He's like, how do you not like, what? I'm going to, time to do an anti-Semitism is what he woke up and said. Like, what?
Yep.
They bullied him for no reason. He didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. The kid just showed up at school and was Jewish, and they were like, "All right, you're dead to me." Like crazy.
It was insane. It just came out of nowhere. And the guy, the mega hot guy, the other quote unquote bully, is like, tries to make an excuse for him. He just doesn't like your kind. You're like, what are you talking about? Are you with me? Or are you against me? Because you're not technically bullying me right now, but this is really passive aggressive.
It's not about you. He hates all Jewish people.
Don't take it personally. He just has a thing with Jews.
Yeah.
And you just happen to be the one in our class right now. So
the one Jewish person in all of Northern California. He's like, finally got one here. Like, the guy was licking his lips, hoping a Jewish person would stumble into their community.
But his girlfriend liked the fact that he was Jewish. As soon as they found out, when she said, "Yeah, he's Jewish," that's when she was like, "Oh, that means he's like Jesus." And then it was on and popping. Then he was in the game already.
I was laughing. I was the only one laughing in the theater because it just hit like a shotgun blast to the chest. The super religious girlfriend. Like, we should pray.
Oh God, I can't imagine watching that at Waco. Holy shit!
I was laughing so hard, man. I was laughing so hard, and like a bunch of like older people were in the theater, and I was cracking up. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, that was honestly the funniest.
He's like, is Jesus sexy? Like, what?
And it was obvious that he had vibes. I feel like he had more vibes to the other girl, obviously, and so like eventually it's going in that direction. But like the way that they do the one bully is like flat character, the one who gets beat up, like he's like a flat character. But the other bully is like, oh my God, you made me look like a superhero. Like now I have to unpack that in front of you and be emotionally vulnerable with you in the hallway. And it works. It's like, okay, they found a way to make that character like more than just a flat bully character, but like gave him some depth and gave him like a scene that gave him this close-up moment where then he's like, all right, don't ever tell anybody about this or I'll kill you, bitch. And he runs out of the scene. You get to have those little moments. I just thought it was just did a good job of, I agree with Dexter. Like it didn't feel disjointed when the times would jump and it'll be a new actor or they would move to a new place. It all felt like a part of one story to me. And it's just a story of this family and, the things that they deal with. And I just thought they did a really good job with it. And a lot more people are going to see it once it starts, Oscar season really ramps up. So they might make their money back. They'll be all right.
Was really funny, a really interesting take to be like, why did you make me look really good on camera?
Yeah, he should have been trying to be down with it. He should be like, my bad, bro. I had you all wrong. Let's film some, like, put me in your next movie. I could be a movie star. He fucked up his whole life.
Yeah, and he was sitting there going like, I don't actually look like that. And you're like, okay,
but you do though. They didn't have Photoshop back then, bro. That like they only have but so many tools to make you look good.
Yeah, no, so. he wasn't out here just fucking lying. Like, you know what I'm saying? The edit was generous, but yeah, you look like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a funny take on it. Like, if somebody made me look like a superhero on camera, I'd be like, thank you. Can you do that all the time?
Yeah, can you just follow me around with a camera and just make me look like a superhero all the time?
Yeah, that'd be great. And then, of course, the kind of finale of this movie is he finagles his way onto the CBS lot, Paramount lot, and starts working on Hogan's Heroes, which was a huge show. But
yeah, then he started to lose me a little bit. Like I was like, I don't get it. Like I'm not hip to the history here. Like I feel like this is for people who know way more about Steven Spielberg than I do. Like I'm kind of lost by this entire conversation.
This may or may not be true, which is the whole thing of like Steven Spielberg. Half of it we don't know, like because of the legend of who is Steven Spielberg. He did start working in television. He started working in television because he snuck onto the Paramount lot when he was like 19. And they kept kicking him out, and he kept coming back. And he filmed some of the first, I think he filmed like the second episode of Matlock or something like that. Or Columbo. I can't remember which one of those old lawyer shows that he filmed. He filmed like the second episode of that, started working in TV, made a few TV movies, and then finally got enough money to start filming some other films. But I think this interaction is mostly true. If it's not John Ford, then it was another famous director, and he used John Ford as sort of like a stand-in. But that is who everyone aspired to be, because John Ford, by all accounts, is probably like the greatest filmmaker of all time. And so it was just like, I want to aspire to be you sort of thing. But that's also a little bit of legend making, I think, on Spielberg's part, if it didn't happen that way, where it's like legend begets legend by telling him to fuck off. You know what I mean?
Well, no, first he
I was
told
watching
him
that.
about the Horizon, which was bars. That was amazing.
Yeah,
He
that
gave him
was
some
dope.
real bars.
Which also, should we say, that's also a famous director, by the way.
Oh,
that was David Lynch. John Ford was made by David Lynch.
Got it. Yes.
So. Yeah, I was like, I don't like that part. I was like, okay, now it feels a little hokey. Like the whole, like, you know, autobiography thing feels like we're getting a little out of hand here. But like, I was still able to rock with it for the most part. Like
the final shot, the hokiness of it quickly evaporated for me when you get the final shot, and then he adjusts so that the margin
adjusts the camera.
I thought that was such a dope touch. I was like, that's a great way to end the movie. So that got rid of any of the hokey vibes. I felt of like, oh, now he's making it. We don't actually need to see this part of the story. We know this part of it. Like we know that you become you. So it was more fun when we were with the family. But then once they ended it like that with the little Horizon thing, I thought it was a cute nod. I was like, okay, I'm into it. It was hilarious the way he was talking to him. He said, "Get the fuck out of my office." That shit was amazing.
I do think, and he looks a lot like him, which is crazy. You go back and look at pictures of John Ford, but like, yeah, I do think it was sort of a little bit of myth making on Spielberg's part, which is fine. Again, it's cool. It's fine. Like it's Steven fucking Spielberg.
If I made a movie about me, I would have done way more myth making, so I can't really hate on that. I would have done way. I would have made myself look like a fucking Avenger.
I would have been lying like LeBron.
Lying like LeBron.
John Wayne was in my first movie. You know? No, he wasn't.
No, he actually wasn't.
He was dead. There was like a New York Post like headline or something the other day that said he lied about the girlfriend. Spielberg's classmates weigh in on Fabelmans film, and somebody said, "Fucking got him." Like, oh, you roasted this billionaire because he didn't get laid in high school. How will he ever recover? I just like to think that there is some bitter high school classmate from California that's just like sitting there steaming in the theater, being like, "He didn't have a girlfriend."
Hey, some Aggie somewhere sitting there like, I never fucked that guy.
Yeah.
I never fucked Steven
Got
Spielberg.
his number for homework one time.
I knew she wasn't the one when she said she was going to Texas A&M. I was like, see, you messed up. That's where you messed up right there, bro. You don't want to date a woman from Texas A&M, bro.
Yeah, I would have been like, all right, you got it. Bye.
Nah, you good, bro. Like, you good. I'm gonna go ahead and try to slide on your friend because she's single. She's going through a breakup too. So now we can console each other.
Oh man. So that has been the Fabelmans. Anything else you want to talk about with this movie before we talk about some other things?
Go see it. It's real cinema.
Go see it. Go see the Fabelmans. I don't know when it's going to expand. I don't know what the plan, but probably more so around Christmas. So real quick, let's talk about the menu. The menu came out a few weeks ago. We don't have to do like a full review of it, but if you, let's see, let me give you just a quick synopsis of the menu. 7.5 on IMDb, 71 Metascore. A young couple travels to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. Directed by Mark Mylod and written by Seth Reese and Will Tracy. Stars Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, Hong Chow. John Leguizamo makes an appearance. Host of other character actors that you have seen in a bunch of other things, but mostly this is a Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy masterclass, if you will. $35 million budget. I said it was a hit, but it made its money back, what you wouldn't expect from a movie like this nowadays. $47 million grossed worldwide. Had like a 90% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. Did really
Yeah,
well with
which was
critics.
insane to me before I saw it. And then I saw it and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, this is actually dope.
Yeah,
How
so
does the menu have 90% and the Fabelmans has 92%? That doesn't make any sense.
the menu has an
Yeah.
88% and a 77% critic score. So
I think it debuted at like a 90 or like an 89 or something like that, like on Rotten Tomatoes before it came
Rotten
out.
Tomatoes, I hate you. That doesn't make there's a wide range between those two films. It should be about 30 points between these two films.
Real quick, what I thought about the menu, I gave it a B plus. Really, really solid thriller movie, if you will, and it kind of subverts some of the thriller genres. I thought it was going to be more of like a most dangerous game sort of hunt for people, kill some more people sort of thing, and it really did subvert a lot of those expectations. It was really funny. I thought it was quick witted. It is about as subtle as a brick to the head. But that's fine because you like the people at the center of the performances. And yeah, it does the eat the rich literally pretty well, which is a good movie for these times. What did y'all think about the menu?
I like that it didn't do the like eat the rich thing, literally, actually. I thought that was dope. But yeah, I liked basically every minute of this film until the last like 15, and then I was like, wait, what are we doing? Like that's how we're gonna end this shit.
What are
Like,
we doing?
I ended up giving it an A- because like the beginning, like the first 90% of this movie is so good that I was like willing to overlook how much I didn't like the ending. But yeah, the way they resolved everything at the end, I was like, we could have done something else, something, anything else. Honestly,
Like I said, there's no like major squid. It just kind of it does just kind of it ends.
and like, you know, it just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Honestly, like, there's two aspects to the ending, and both of them are the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, to be honest. But I was willing to let it rock because the rest of the movie is so good to me. Nicholas Hoult is just the worst person you've ever seen in your life, and I loved him for it in this movie. Incredible performance, like great scumbaggery, up there with Justin Long and Barbarian in terms of scumbags in 2022 movies.
Yes, good comparison.
Anya Taylor-Joy, she's got it. She's like, she crushes it. Rafe, not Ralph. Rafe. He's very good. Also, he like carries this movie basically. His fucking like they have him like clap to get everyone's attention in the restaurant, and it's
loud
like, fucking
as fuck,
terrifying for no reason, like just because of like the way they design it with the sound and everything, and then just his face is just scary as shit. And like he's not doing anything other than standing there clapping, and he's like the most menacing person you've ever seen. I really thought that was dope. But yeah, it's really fun. A few twists and turns and stuff like that. Hated the ending, but you know, overall a solid ride. Recommend it. Check it out.
I'll say that it's way more of a comedy than it is like a thriller. I meant to say that it's like the blackest of black comedies. I thought it was really way more funny than I thought. Actually, one of the more funny movies of 2022 to me.
I really like the Anya Taylor-Joy performance, but I don't really like anything else about this movie. It didn't move me in the same way it moved y'all. It's not bad. I would probably give it a B minus. I don't love the performance of the main chef guy. Like it does nothing for me. And also the performance of her boyfriend does nothing for me. And I found myself, as you're getting to know kind of the storylines of everybody at the tables, I start to realize that I was like bored. But I was like, I don't care about the storylines of these people. The only storyline that I am supposed to care about is Anya Taylor-Joy storyline. And everybody else's storyline I did not care about. I did not care about John Leguizamo at all in the slightest, or anybody else in this dinner. So I just thought it was I don't know. It was at times I was like, what are we doing? And I'm with Dex. The ending is awful. It's like very awful. I was like, this is how we're ending this movie. Like, okay, I guess this is a cool way to end this film. And I just thought it was total dud at the end. But I did enjoy the ride at some points. I would say it's a B-.
I disagree on the Nicholas Hoult performance. I'm with Dex. I thought it was like, I was like, what is sort of the point of all of this? Is he just really that big of like a food
A
critic snob?
fanboy, yeah.
Yeah, and then the ending is like of his character is like, ooh, ew. I thought it was really well written, and they had a really good dynamic, I thought.
Yeah, with
But,
the ending of his character, you're like, oh, that's really fucked. Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Like
but-
the more you think about it, I'm just like, wow, that was like super duper fucked up. Holy shit.
But this is your guy though. This guy has directed like 20 episodes of Succession.
Yeah, I found that to be weird because Succession is just so well written, and this is not that. But once I realized that, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that. Succession is literally the best thing on TV, and it doesn't have a close peer. Although there's some good shit on TV, like The White Lotus is amazing. Y'all need to be watching that shit. Season 2 is probably better than season 1. Y'all are missing out on real fucking cinema on television.
I don't think I'm going to.
What?
Look, okay, I think I watch maybe like 2 TV shows a year that I've like missed after like they've already started or whatever, and I think I might have to make that one of them for either this year or early next year. Like I want to get on it. I want to be Hive because y'all look like y'all are having an amazing time, and I think I can get with it. So,
all right, that has been the menu. Of course, there's
can we do little spoilers real quick for the menu so we can actually like say what we were
sure.
talking about
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
the ending and whatever.
Sure.
I was sitting there like, there's no fucking way. Like, this man is going to let her walk out of this restaurant because she ordered a cheeseburger, right? Like, that's not. There's no way.
Going, right?
Like, that's not about to happen, is it? And then she just walks out of the fucking restaurant because she ordered the cheese. I was like, what? What? Like, what was this for? And why is everyone else just like, oh, okay, well, never. I don't want to order a cheeseburger. I just want to die here. Like, that's fine. You can go.
Yeah, no one else was like, hey, I also have a cheeseburger. Like, maybe
Me too.
Everybody else was just like, all right, I guess I'm done.
2, please.
I like Five Guys.
I'll have what she's having. Like, everyone else was just like, okay, like, I guess I'll just die. We'll be s'mores now. Like, what?
It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. Like I was kind of like, I accepted it, but I don't know. Yeah, I was underwhelmed by it, and
I was sitting there like, there's got to be something else. Like, there's some other explanation. Nope. She ordered a cheeseburger, so she's off the hook. Like, she tapped back into his roots, I guess.
Well, that was what the commentary was. That's literally
burger chef. But yeah, like, his roots were just tapped into enough to let her live, but not,
But not literally anyone else.
not for him to want to live himself and keep making cheeseburgers or anything. Like, nah.
He gone too far at this point. He committed several murders.
Yeah, I mean, well, they'll get over it. But and yeah,
like
I do
prison.
I do like the fact that everyone, including me, watched the trailer for the menu and was like, "Oh, okay, the food is made out of people. Okay, cool." And then it wasn't. I was like, "Good. I'm glad they didn't do that. They could have done the whole silent greatest people thing, but they avoided that. Good for them."
No, when I said eat the rich, I didn't mean literally eat the rich, but I was like, it is. This movie is rich people are bad and assholes, and you shouldn't respect genius as much as you do, or worship genius as much as you do. That's what this movie is, and it hits you over the head with a frying pan, literally.
Yeah, but I remember like Dez the other day. Shout out to Apollo Dez, the co-founder of Apollo Media. He was like, "So the menu, like they're eating people, right?" And I was like, I'm not gonna tell you what's happening in the movie. Like, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm gonna let you go watch it yourself. But he was like just so fucking sure they were eating people in the movie, and I was like, well,
that's
you gotta go watch the movie.
100% what I thought was going to be. I thought it was going to be we're gonna hunt you down today, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, you're about to eat all the people who have been to this restaurant before. So
yeah,
but I like that part.
Yeah. So that has been the menu. Go see it or don't. There's 1,000 movies out right now, including like a Santa murder mystery movie or Santa action movie. Violent
The
Night.
Menu is a prime candidate for like the drop on HBO Max, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, the
Have
Menu!
y'all seen The Menu? Or like,
Why? We need more movies like this. Why is no one talking about this?
Not
This
to
movie
blow
is
up-
so good."
Not to blow up the group chat, but they were like, "Have y'all seen Bullet Train?" We're like, "Come the fuck."
Like, am I a joke to you? Like what?
That was 10 episodes ago.
Dex literally said, "Welcome to August."
Yeah, like what do you mean have we seen Bullet? That movie was in theater for 2 months. Like so they put it on Netflix and everyone's like, "Oh, Bullet Train. This is so much fun."
Well, people are getting to it. People are now talking
Brad
about how
Pitt
much they liked
rules.
it. We
Go to the
told y'all
goddamn movie theater.
we told y'all it was good months ago, but we're glad that you're finally joining us on the Bullet Train. It's good cinema.
Oh my god!
Is it better than Ambulance? I don't know. I'm just saying it's good cinema, but the Ambulance
Honestly,
does.
It's not elite. It's not elite cinema like Ambulance.
Honestly, I'd have to
Ambulance-
rewatch them both before I can make a judgment
Ambulance
call
now.
on that.
That's elite cinema right there. That's
What
elite
is
cinema.
Ambulance even on? Is it on it? Because that seems like a movie that would be.
Does it
like,
matter?
Yes,
Yes.
it does. I haven't seen. I don't know where it is because people need to be watching that shit. Which means it's probably on Apple. It's probably
It's on
Apple.
Paramount.
Has those apps.
Peacock. All right. So that has been the Menu and the Fabelmans. We'll do a Steven Spielberg draft in like 2 seconds because I got to step away. I gotta pee, guys. Sorry. So we're gonna do the Steven Spielberg draft in like 2 seconds.
All right.
Ambulance is on Amazon Prime Video.
I'm about to have to visit that shit. It's almost real cinema hours over here. I'm watching a movie tonight.
Oh, the movie stinks.
The greatest shit, man.
But shout out to Isaac Gonzalez, looking lovely.
Man, looking fucking incredible.
Everybody looks great in that movie, honestly. But Isaac Gonzalez, elite. I gotta fucking look up Steven Spielberg movies so I can remember what they are. I had no idea he did The Color Purple, by the way. Like, that is news to me.
He definitely did The Color Purple.
I've like only ever thought of that movie as like classic black cinema. Like I've never once considered Steven Spielberg being a part of that. 11 Academy Award nominations. That's crazy.
11
nominations, no wins for The Color Purple.
That sounds about right.
This list is not as long as I thought it would be.
This draft is going to go easy for me.
I'm going to end up getting all the new shit that nobody likes because I only see new movies. People are so disappointed when I tell them like I do movie reviews and shit, and they ask me about stuff from like, you know, their childhood or whatever, and I'm like,
and you're like, I've never seen that shit.
I go to the movie theaters every single week to watch new shit. I have not seen fucking your movie from 1974. Sorry.
Dex, you hadn't seen a movie pre-1985.
Honestly, most of them, no. Really the only like old, like super classic movie that I've actually seen is Singing in the Rain. And like, well, yeah, I mean, everyone's seen The Godfather, but Singing in the Rain is what, 1930 something? Or
you mean like just out of Silent Pictures stuff.
Yeah, Singing in the Rain. Oh shit, I was way off. 1952.
Yeah.
Is that older than God? Yeah, that's older than Godfather.
Yeah, by about 20 years. Okay, so we're gonna do a Spielberg draft. Let's actually. I want to do a randomizer for this one. This is great radio. Random.org. Shout out to the sponsor. Teach. X. And randomize. So Tej, Royden, Dex.
I'm first.
4 picks. 4 picks for the Steven Spielberg draft.
There's
so many. There's actually so many to pick from, though.
My number 1 pick is easy for me, personally. It's Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park. It is.
I don't
incredible.
think anybody can fault you for that.
It is perfection. It is the first time that Steven Spielberg took me to a place of wonderment that I will never forget. It's Jurassic Park, man. Dinosaurs are fucking awesome, and that movie is terrifying. So that's my first pick.
That movie is partly CGI, a lot of animatronics, but like kind of almost invented CGI as we know it today.
Yep.
Which is crazy, but also it still looks good.
Still, to this day, you pop that shit in, you're gonna think there's dinosaurs there. It still looks good.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it. Mostly because I think they built like a 50-foot dinosaur head. But other than that, Jurassic Park, great pick. A lot of people. That's not the wrong pick, but I will tell you the right pick at number 1, which is Jaws. Jaws is
fucking awesome.
Jaws invented the summer blockbuster. There wasn't summer blockbusters before Jaws came out. Star Wars exists because Jaws exists. That's all I'll say about it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So Jaws was a movie that shouldn't have worked. It was a disaster to film. You can find the documentary on the filming of Jaws. The reason you don't see the shark for half the movie is because it didn't fucking work. The shark would take on water and break every single day. So Spielberg fell ass backwards into making one of the most renowned horror movies of all time. So it catapulted his career into superstardom. But Jaws is it may be his best film. But anyway.
All right, so y'all set me up for a great turn here, especially for the Twitter votes. I'm gonna take Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, pretty solid turn here. Both fucking classics. Everyone knows this. Everyone loves them. Schindler's List. The first time I saw that movie was actually in school. Like we had a substitute teacher in social studies class one day. Or like it was like one of those like weeks where like a teacher was out. Yeah, it was like one of those weeks where a teacher was out, and so they just sent a sub there every day and in the DVD cart, and we were watching Schindler's List. And so that was my relationship with it for a long time because I never saw it again until like a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, this is actually like fucking incredible filmmaking and cinema. It's not just busy work from a substitute teacher. Shit fucking is incredible.
Props to that substitute teacher.
Yeah, I'm surprised in our country ass school you would have had to have signed a waiver to like.
We had a couple of those in school, but I think they stopped doing that by the time we got to high school. They were just like, fuck it, whatever. Like,
yeah.
And then Saving Private Ryan. I mean, everyone knows.
I say
Saving Private Ryan at this point.
I'd say it's the best war. It's definitely the best war film that we've had in the past 2 decades. It came out in '98, but it like popular. I don't even know how to say that word. It popularized filmmaking techniques that we saw in war films ever since. It has been copied every war film ever since that movie came out.
Yep.
Facts. Looks incredible. Also, great Tom Hanks, which is
incredible. Tom Hanks.
Yeah, something we can't always say. No.
Facts.
Goddamn.
Look, I love Tom Hanks like he was like my dad or something, but it's not always the best for Tom in his latter years.
Hey, bro, don't sleep on the Elvis resurgence, bro. Don't sleep.
Elvis, which was trash cinema, trash.
Elvis is back, brother. That's going
to get nominated for Oscars. You know that?
It better not.
It will.
He's going to get nominated for not Hanks, but Elvis is going to get nominated for
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler is going to get nominated for Best Actor.
No,
that shit is getting nominated.
Yes,
for
he
Best
is.
Picture, bro.
I swear to God, he will.
People love that fucking movie. It has not gone anywhere.
He's going to get nominated for Best Actor. Never mind.
He will be.
Don't sleep. Elvis is back, baby.
unserious cinema. Unserious cinema.
This year's Bohemian Rhapsody. It's here. You can't do anything about
I'm
it.
disgusted.
Sorry.
I'm literally disgusted right now. That hurts my feelings.
My next pick is not my favorite Indiana Jones movie, but it is regarded as probably the best Indiana Jones movie, and it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. And both of you are going to roll your eyes at this pick. Dex, you've never even seen it, but
Nope.
It's the most racist movie you've ever seen.
No, it is not.
Indiana Jones movies are inherently racist. I hate those movies. I hate them so much. I hate them.
The second one is very racist. I don't know about the first one. Okay, but like it's problematic fave. It's a good movie. Sue me. Sorry, but Indiana Jones has the best star-turning performance from Harrison Ford that you'll ever see in your entire life. Yeah, so I got to go Raiders of the Lost Ark, especially for Twitter votes.
This is an easy turn for me. The most underrated movie that Steven Spielberg has ever made, and one of the greatest movies of all time, comes from the same year that my first pick, Jurassic Park, came. It is Hook. Hook is real cinema.
No,
it's incredible cinema, bros. Rufio.
Out of all the other movies that you could possibly pick right now.
The hold this movie had on me when I was a kid. The hold this film had on me as a kid. This film is greatness. It's still good to this day. Hook is amazing.
It's fine.
Shout out to Robin Williams, the GOAT.
Some would say it's actively bad, but I think it's fine.
Many would say
people
it's bad.
That love real cinema, love Hook. When you put this poll up tomorrow, everybody on Twitter is going to come in your mentions and tell you, "Oh my God, I loved Hook when I was a kid. It is perfect."
I watched this
movie 30 times when I was a kid, at least. I watched this movie over and over and over again. It's great. I love it.
Okay, another pick, because that one's awful. That one's bad.
The second most underrated movie in the Steven. Okay. Wait, I'm going to save that one. I'm going with The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans is real cinema. It's incredible. Yeah. It's not going to make any money, but I don't care about money. It's not my money. We're talking about cinema right now. Fabelmans for sure. It's amazing.
How did I just fall ass backwards into E.T.?
Is E.T. actually good? Yes or no? I don't know.
What are we talking about?
Okay. It's all right. It's all right.
Yes, it's great.
It's not as good as Hook, but it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, it's better than Hook. What are we talking about? The fuck?
No, it's not. No, it's not, bro. E.T. is mid. E.T. is mid.
We're definitely getting T slandered tomorrow for this Hook.
Hook
over E.T. take. We're doing
Hook
that.
is a better movie than E.T. Clip it off. Put it on the internet. Hook is real cinema, and E.T. is just okay. It's just a movie.
This is unbelievable. This is slander that I will not stand
Hook
for.
This is real cinema.
Egregious. You know who
Rufio came on the scene, you couldn't tell him anything. Rufio was him.
You know who didn't even claim Hook? Robin Williams didn't even claim Hook.
Hey, listen. Much due respect to the GOAT Robin Williams. He's amazing in this movie, as is everybody. It is a great film. It is family friendly. The performance of Hook, the seminal performance of Hook, is just amazing. This is a great film.
Also, E.T. changed cinema. What the fuck are we talking about?
I didn't say Hook was more important. I said Hook was better.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is better.
This is categorically
This poll,
false.
when we put this poll up, y'all are going to see it's going to be way closer than y'all think. It's going to be way closer than y'all think.
If it is,
I want to join you. I want to join you.
You don't understand the cult following that Hook has.
I've never seen E.T.
Hook has a cult following.
No.
It's not that good.
You probably hate it now. You probably hate it now, but you see it when you're a kid, and it's great.
It's good.
It's Spielberg exploring the absent dad thing the entire time and being a lonely kid it's exploring that theme in The Fabelmans, but in this when he was a younger filmmaker.
I feel like
it's heartfelt,
pop culture
brilliant.
at this point that I get it with E.T. Like it's everywhere. Like it's been parodied to death for forever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I get it. Like I'm good.
E.T. Phone Home. It is the most heartfelt movie of all time, and Tej has a cold soul made of ice.
E.T. Phoning Home didn't slap nearly as hard as when Rufio came on the scene with the Lost Boys. That was the greatest moment in cinema history, brother. What are we talking about here?
What
I
are you
definitely
talking
didn't think
about?
we were going
Hook
to
is
get here
amazing.
today. What the fuck? I never even once considered that
I
somebody
fucking
might
love
say
Hook. I fucking
Hook is
love
better
Hook.
than ET. Having not seen ET, I'm just no fucking way.
No.
Hook is incredible cinema. That's our next
Hold
episode.
on. Let me look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores of Hook versus E.T.
Hey, we've
Hook
already
is a
established earlier on the
29.
episode that Rotten Tomatoes is a lie.
Ew, tease. Hook has a
You
29%.
wait till you see that. We are legion. The Hook lovers, pause, are legion. There are millions of us.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial, mind you, has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's okay. It's no Hook. But
70-point gap. That's
Yep.
nasty.
Yep.
That's nasty, bros.
Yeah,
They don't
crazy.
appreciate real cinema on Rotten Tomatoes. We know that.
All right, Dex, 2 picks.
So I'm gonna go with the movie I was telling Tej off camera that I had no idea was actually directed by Steven Spielberg. The Color Purple. That shit is classic cinema, especially in the
Great
Hitson
movie.
household. The first time I watched that movie, I'll never forget it. Me and my older cousin, she's a year older than me. We were super close when we were kids. We're sitting there watching this movie at my house, and she gets up and like she flips the DVD over, like because like
It's so long.
the movie is that long.
It
And I
is
was like,
long.
wait, what the fuck do you mean? You have to flip the DVD over.
2-sided DVDs. That's totally. Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
Like, what are you talking about? Like what do you mean you have to flip the DVD over? So like that was my first like ever like real thought about The Color Purple. And then, once again, went back and watched it as an older person who can like understand and appreciate things. That was like, hot damn, this is good. Shout out to Oprah, Queen, and the rest of the cast. I can't believe that movie got 11 Oscar nominations and won fucking nothing. That's wild.
I can. That is definitely the movie nowadays that would do that.
11 and nothing?
If you put out The Color Purple today, it would get maybe 2 Oscars.
You have 3 people nominated for acting awards, and they got nothing in that movie. I don't even know who.
We're living in a day where the fucking The Irishman came out. What are we talking about?
But yeah, The Irishman is bad, so that's different.
Oh, that's fair. I forgot about that part of it. My bad.
The Irishman is bad, and Joker is bad, so it makes sense that they got all those nominations but didn't get any wins. People were like, "Wait, these movies are bad." But yeah, shout out to The Color.
Did The Power of the Dog win anything?
Director and a couple other things, I think.
Did
but
she
nothing
win for best
anyone cares
director?
about. Yeah,
that shit
easily.
is trash cinema, bros. That shit is trash.
That movie sucks. But yeah, back to good films now. I'm gonna take West Side Story just because I haven't seen.
Movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of the other Spielberg movies that haven't been drafted yet, but that movie was dope to me. Mr. Redacted, he is fine in the movie, but everybody else I loved and really enjoyed.
Is he actually redacted? Because he's just starred in HBO series and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, nobody watched that HBO series that he starred in.
Yeah, no one watched it. Like
no one.
That shit got farted into the wind. I haven't heard anything about him since, I feel like. But Ariana DeBose, she killed it. Obviously, she won the Oscar for it. Rachel Zegler, she killed it. I'm excited to see what she does in the future. Like, that movie is just good. I'm a sucker for a good musical. So shout out to West Side Story.
A movie that I thought in no way should have worked. Just
you
because
steal
you
steal my movie, I'm gonna be so mad.
No, I'm talking about West Side Story right now.
Oh,
I was just like, a movie in no way that I thought should have worked was West Side, like a remake of a classic movie of a classic stage play, like by Steven Spielberg, like who had never directed a musical or anything like that. Like, but it looked great and it was fun. So like, I don't know what.
Steven Spielberg is in like just the heat check phase of his career. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. A musical, fuck it, let's do it. I love that movie when I was a kid. My Life Story, fuck it, let's do it. Like,
yeah, are you gonna tell me no? Like, you know what I mean? Movie that is absolutely in his top tier that needs to get more love. That I think I've watched actually, besides Saving Private Ryan or any of the Indiana Jones films, watched more than any of his other movies. Catch Me If You Can is a brilliant film.
Yeah.
that is kind of lost in the ether of all of his movies, but it stars a pretty good Tom Hanks, but just a magnetic Leo performance.
Yeah.
He's incredible in that movie, and he's like 22. He is so good. Like maybe he's a little bit older than that, but it's still young Leo before he gets fat, and like it's great. It's awesome to watch a movie star become a movie star, and nobody has done that better than Spielberg. And he put him. It was like Popovich coaching Duncan, man. He put him in all the right places to succeed. It's incredible to watch. And it's probably the funnest movie that he made in a long time, too, after getting out of, of course, like the Minority Report and AI and Saving Private Ryan. Like, yeah, going back to a romp like Catch Me If You Can is really good. Brilliant film.
Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen, Amy Adams. What a cast.
Okay, so the best movie left is Lincoln, and I have the last pick now. But I can't pick Lincoln because I have to pick the second most underrated Steven Spielberg movie of all time. And it has our Lord and Savior, Tom Cruise, in it. It's Minority Report. Minority Report is fucking awesome. Okay. It's way better than has any idea is any business being. And Tom Cruise is just the movie star. And I just love Tom Cruise's performance in this movie. It is some of the best work Tom Cruise ever done outside of the Mission Impossible IP, obviously. I love Tom Cruise. Thank you for existing, Tom Cruise. And I don't care how weird you act in the news. I'm going to keep supporting your films because
your religion is none of my business. Just keep making these dope ass movies.
Keep your religion out of my face, and I don't really want to know about your personal life or your love life. Just keep making movies, bro, and I'll keep going to the movie theater.
That was right around. He and Spielberg made a couple of movies together. This War of the Worlds.
They made War of the Worlds too.
Yeah, which is also an underrated movie. Like
also good.
I really liked that movie, and I liked it as a kid. I went back and watched it. Still holds up really well, but like, Minority Report, I don't get it. Like, I just feel stupid when I'm just like, okay, this is beyond me. Like, I get what they're, I get the spectacle of it and what they're kind of trying to do. I don't necessarily care about what they're trying to say, but this is also around when Tom Cruise was being real fucking weird.
This is a very weird time in Tom Cruise's life, and there have been a lot of those.
And also, I watched this movie really young and it scared the hell out of me when I was a kid because it's a weird movie.
It's weird. It's very weird.
Especially like when he's like, he has his eye replacement surgery and he's like feeling around and eating rotten food and stuff. I'm like, when I watched that when I was like 10, I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a weird Spielberg movie. Just a really weird one. But
him dropping that and Catch Me If You Can like 6 months apart, crazy.
Weird.
Nobody talks about that. He went on like an unbelievable, like he would do the two movie a year thing forever, and all of them were really good. You would never get that from anyone today, ever. Like I don't think Jordan Peele could do that. In fact, I know that Jordan Peele can do that because he takes like 3 years between each movie.
Yeah, fucking Schindler's List and Jurassic Park dropping in the same year. That's crazy.
What the unbelievable. Fuck? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, fucking June, he drops Jurassic Park, comes back in November with Schindler's List. Get the fuck out of here. What?
Was Jurassic Park also nominated for like Best Picture too? Because it won 3 Oscars. No, it's been nominated for all the below the line awards and won all of them. But like, yeah, going back and looking at it, so he does this thing where Jurassic World, an ass movie comparatively. So yeah, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, The Lost World, which isn't a good movie, but like made a ton of money. Then Amistad, he does the same year. Then he does Saving Private Ryan. He takes a break. AI, Minority Report, and Catch Me If You Can in the same year. And then it's kind of like a little bit less down the line. But yeah, doing that is unbelievable, unreal. So that has been. I don't know if you known this filmmaker Steven Spielberg, but that's been his like little filmography. What's your favorite Spielberg movie? If like you had to pick, what is it? It cannot be Hook.
No, it's Jurassic Park. But Hook
It is
incredible.
Jurassic Park. Okay.
It's Jurassic Park. But
Jax,
Jaws
you
is
have
a
a-
close second. I love Jaws. I love Jaws.
I'm also gonna have to go with Jurassic Park. I haven't seen any of the Indiana Jones movies, so I feel like, and I haven't seen E.T., so I'm kind of playing at a disadvantage here. But
I almost don't
you know.
want you to watch them because I don't want to like live through you shitting on them.
Don't worry, I will not watch them. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry. You don't have to worry about me doing that.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
like,
That
there's-
heals my heart a little bit. Thanks.
We're not
Yeah,
missing
they're about to
anything
put out
with
the 5th one, and like I'll probably just go see that just to like have something to do when it comes out in February or whatever. But yeah, you don't have to
There'll
worry
probably be a
about
lot less racist than the other one, so at least that's a good thing.
Harrison Ford, retire. Sir, retire.
that. Please
Sir,
sit down
resign.
somewhere, bro.
Sir, resign.
What is he, 80 now? Like,
Yeah.
sit down somewhere, fam.
All he
You're
likes to
good.
do is smoke weed and crash planes. So just go do that.
You will never let him live that down. You personally. Like, you will make sure
He has crashed so many planes.
that it is no.
That's unbelievable. He's crashed one like once a quarter.
Whenever Harrison Ford eventually dies, hopefully a long time from now, people will be like, Indiana Jones and Star Wars star Harrison Ford died, and you'll be like, dude could crash the fuck out of a plane. Surprised it took this long.
It won't even be that. It'll be like driving a golf cart or something like that. But then just like he's like landing on golf courses and shit. Like in his plane. Like, you're obviously not good at this. The whole goal is to keep the plane upright in the air. And somehow Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, has crashed multiple planes. That's all. Look, that's all I'm saying.
Tom Cruise would never.
Quite literally, no, he wouldn't. So that has been a One Take podcast. It's good to get back on the microphone, on the
We're
ones
back.
and twos.
We're back, brother.
We will do. I don't know. Avatar's coming out soon, but that's a little ways from now.
Brother.
It's next week, bro.
I guess so. I guess it's already Wednesday. So
I'm
yeah,
going
next
to
week.
see Knives Out instead because I think I'm being forced to go to Avatar, actually.
You will be going to Avatar, and we will be reviewing it.
The Way of Water.
Early
Oh.
reviews on Avatar are that it slaps. but I
Early
don't-
reviews are that
They
those people
said
are
that
liars.
last time.
They
bro.
said that about the fucking last one. Those people are liars, bro. Liars.
Like, I already know this shit is gonna stink. I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go see it early. But like, I
I'm
know
not
this shit is
looking
gonna
forward to
stink.
seeing
Don't
this.
have to
I
lie
did
to me.
see one review that I do trust. I wish I could find his name, but he said it looks incredible. It's the same thing as last time. It looks incredible. The story is pretty good, but James Cameron's dialogue continues to suffer or something like that. And it's
Kill
just
me.
like, oh no.
James
That's the
Cameron,
exact same-
beautiful gowns. Just
Kill me.
Beautiful gowns.
I can't
Every
believe we're
single
gonna do
movie.
this.
He needs some people to come in and do punch up. Like, that's all. But he's on like an incredible heater of lying, by the way, too. We were talking about The Rock and LeBron.
Yep.
James Cameron is lying his ass off about how many Avatar films that he's going to make.
There's no
Already
way he
got-
does 4 of these. Not
Already got the plan for Avatar 5 and 6. James, you'll be dead.
We'll all
Also,
be
we don't
dead.
want to see those. We don't want to see those. No disrespect, Mr. Cameron. We don't care about Avatar. We want real cinema, bro. We want real cinema.
Do we think this will make $1 billion?
Probably.
Hopefully not. I'm not paying for my ticket. Somebody.
I think it makes.
Uh,
I think it makes $1.5 billion.
Yeah, I'll give it $1 billion, but not 2.
This movie is not making $1 billion.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
I feel like it is.
They've
I
been
feel
marketing this since
Don't matter. I say it makes about
since June.
I say it makes about $750 million.
I want that to be true, but I feel like
They're gonna make a lot of money now, but they're not
Avatar
about
is a
to-
hive. Like, for whatever fucking reason, there's an
Especially
Avatar
overseas,
hive.
too.
Yeah.
It's not
So
gonna
I
knock
think
the same, guys. It's not gonna hit the same. It's not gonna be the same. It's, everybody that saw Avatar
the
1 is
first one
not
didn't
going in
even
there seeing
hit.
Avatar 2.
Like the first one didn't even knock.
They're
Movie
not making $1
stinks.
billion. It's destined to fail.
There was a big long article. We're running long, but there was a long article written about like why the first Avatar made as much money as it did, and it's fascinating to go back and look at like sort of the history. It's like a precursor to what we have now. Like it was like the canary in the coal mine for how it made that much money. Like nothing was released. It sort of just dominated and sat in theaters for a long time. And it was this big they marketed the shit out of it as this big spectacle that had never been seen before. And also, surprisingly, the re-rise of 3D technology in theaters. I don't know if y'all remember that nasty period in like 2010.
They're trying to bring it back, bro. Like that for the first time since I've been doing like these like early screenings and shit. This one is in 3D, and I'm like, fuck that. Like I don't want that.
3D movies are ass. Let's let them die. They are not
Also,
cool.
The only good one was Jackass 3D.
I wear glasses already. I don't want to sit here.
That's the
with
worst.
more glasses on.
You're wearing double shades.
I don't want to sit here with more glasses on.
I don't want to do this. Stop.
You got cataracts or something. You're just like,
how dare you? Like, let me just sit here and watch the movie with my regular ass glasses. Fuck.
That's funny. All right, so probably Avatar next podcast, but that has been a One Take podcast. You can find us at One Take Pod. Go tell us your favorite Steven Spielberg movie. One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Pod on all the platforms. Thank you to Tej and Dex. I'm Roy Ogletree. Dex, what are you writing?
Shit, honestly, I don't know. Probably an
Cool.
Avatar 2
Awesome.
review.
Great plug. All right.
Yeah. Follow at Lord Dexon. I'll tweet all my shit as I write it, as I'm prone to do. So yeah, do that.
And at Less Humble Tej, y'all got Slander You. I really don't appreciate what you've been saying about my university.
Nasty times in the Baylor athletic program between that basketball team and that football team.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Who just got ran through by Illinois? Ew.
And it was our first road game. We'll be right back on top. We're all right. It was awful.
First road game. That's nasty. You hadn't played a true road game the entire year.
That's not even a true road game either.
No, it wasn't. It was a mutual. It was at Madison Square Garden between Illinois and Texas. Anyway, so Slander You, that's a great podcast with 1,000 hosts, but Tej is one of them. And it's going off right now. And yeah, you can find me at Royden Ogletree if you want. If not, okay, cool. I tweet bad. I only have bad tweets. So yeah, we haven't done this in a long time, so I don't know how to wrap this up. But that's been a One Take podcast. Like, rate, subscribe. Thank you for leaving.
Dex, what are we doing?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh,
before that, thank you so much to those of you who have liked, rated, and subscribed on our podcast. We really appreciate that. Sorry for the delay. Of course, holidays are weird, and parents are coming in and out, and Dex is wrecking cars and getting sick. So we appreciate you for hanging in with us, and we'll be putting out more content, especially as Oscar season continues to ramp up, even though the Oscars are like 5 months down the road. But thank you so much for hanging with us, and we promise to keep watching movies and giving you more content. Dex, speaking of, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh, baby.
All right. Her movie is out on Netflix. I got to watch that as well. And then it's big Oppenheimer hours all the way in July.
Yes,
Cannot wait.
Pushing for the Oppenheimer hive, which it'll make $1 billion. So I don't know why we got to do that. Anyway,